all these ways, we accumulate an enormous amount of wealth. So how do we redistribute that wealth on public and even private rights? So the deal we offer is that we will build the machine at no cost to the taxpayer. We have railroad bonds and other sources of money. We will build all of this infrastructure statewide at no cost to the taxpayer. Okay? We're not raising any taxes. We're not creating any subsidies. We don't need any tax dollars or grants or gifts or abatements or anything like that. We will bring this infrastructure and build it and then pay half the money we make as a form of a revenue share. And we will become the largest taxpayer in the state. So what you see here is the 50-50 revenue deal. But we take that 50%, we split it 4 ways. And actually we're coming out with a new announcement pretty soon. We're going to be splitting it 8 ways. First is the feds. They get a quarter. Next is the state. They get a quarter. Next is all the counties. They split a quarter. And then the last quarter shown here is all the local governments, cities, townships, port authorities, tribal lands. When we build from Detroit to Ann Arbor, it will generate $2 billion a year. We will be giving $1 billion to the state. That state will, that contract will legally obligate our operating company to pay $250 million to the feds, $250 million directly to the state treasury, $250 million split per capita per county. That's basically $25 per head. If you live in a county with 1 million people, you're getting $25 million a year. And same for all the local governments. What we're offering now is also direct revenue subsidies to medical institutions, recreational, educational, and historical, which is libraries and museums. Nothing more important than libraries and museums, because without the libraries and museums that I went to as a kid, I never would have been able to invent this. So Andrew Carnegie is one of my heroes. The Carnegie Library, where my mother works in Howell, is a very important place to me, and so this is one of our public steward issues. Quick look at what the Eisenhower system will do. 54,000 miles will generate $240 billion a year in revenue to the public side. That's about the same amount of money the IRS collects every year. So we will become a very, very important taxpayer of this nation. A couple more slides. Here is the illustration of what our typical traveler station will look like. These are built inside the clover leaves of the interstate highway. That's why our logo looks like a clover leaf. Also kind of looks like a little green gift. So these buildings there's 2 of them at every highway interchange. From Detroit to Ann Arbor, there will be 84 of these, and they're 10,000 square feet. And it's one of the reasons the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, the Greater Detroit Building Construction Trades Council, the United Steelworkers of America, the AFL-CIO, all love this because we create an enormous amount of jobs for skilled trades. And let's face it, if you're building 84 10,000 square foot buildings at the same time, we got our own little Dubai thing going on here in Detroit, and we're going to outshine the rest of the planet. And it's a gleaming stainless steel rail, not a rust belt. So notice also that in the back here, where our parking structures are, right now we've got a little asphalt parking lot. We will build multi-story parking structures that have plug sockets in them. So if you happen to drive an electric car, you can plug it in. It's one of the things we will do. Here's the same thing in the virtual reality model. You can see the utility substation in the background. Here it is also with a little bit of a cutaway to give you an idea for scale. And this is a vision I had a long time ago. It took a while to get the artwork done, but the highway interchanges are real estate that nobody can use. The military cannot land an airplane on a highway interchange. Most of the interstate highway network is closed off for any construction over the top of it because the military has to be able to land airplanes on it. And if you're a private pilot, you would be grateful that nothing is blocking your way. So we propose building these pyramid complexes over the highway interchanges where applicable. And there's over 1 million square feet of solar glass. This building will generate a megawatt per hour. It's worth building even if it's empty, but it will become a new source for commerce. And this might look familiar. I presented this to Detroit City Council January 31st, 2003, and you should have heard the gasps and panic that were in the chamber. At that time, they were going to tear that building down, and I'm very, very glad that we showed up on that day to say, look, we will renovate the building and make it useful. This was the largest railroad station ever built in America. The same engineers that built this built Grand Central Station in New York. What a tragedy. Oh, well, we don't need Grand Central Station anymore. Let's tear it down. We don't need it. So And fortunately, I finally got to meet Manny Maroon, and there's other people now working on renovating the building. And it just gives Detroit an opportunity to rebuild its public infrastructure and use this glorious building for what it was designed for. So that's the rest of my presentation. For questions? Yes, sir. What's the timeline look like? Well, we're going to start building in 2004. We have, as Pam mentioned earlier, we have over 180 partners. They're from all over North America. We've got people coming in from other countries now. Most of our key people are automotive engineers, automotive management, labor management people. There are dozens and dozens of automotive suppliers in Detroit and in the metro area that are starving to death. One of our partners alone has built an organization of, I think, 18 tool and die companies. So not only just one company, but dozens of our Tier 1 and Tier 2 automotive suppliers are at the ready to start building. We expect that within 6 months, we will have a production line operational and be building 2 miles of rail a day. Within 6 months of us signing the public-private partnership with the state to give us the permission to start building, creating jobs, creating the largest green energy network on the planet, and have all eyes in the world turning and looking at Detroit for what we're going to do. So our timeline is very, very fast. Next question. Yes, sir.
Justin, for those of us that support this project and it is revolutionary, what can we do to help you advance the project?
Yeah. The question is, what can you do to help advance the project? First, tell everybody you know. Second, call your state representative and say, please take this seriously. Please help us create green jobs, and please get the public-private partnership signed so that we can bring billions of dollars to the state and build a public infrastructure system